Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with a Legends of Runeterra video. It's been a while since my last Legends of Runeterra video, of course because I was playing in the closed beta patch and then they closed down the access to that, and now we're in the open beta. So, of course with Legends of Runeterra, if you started playing the game, you might have realized that because of the way that Riot decided they wanted to have players collect cards. It's very free to play friendly, but you do have to take a lot of times in grinding out the cards that you want to build. So a lot of players right now that are trying to play ranked pretty much have to commit to one deck at the moment, or maybe even two decks if they could build up the resources, so they could get experience and grind out cards. So this is kind of a strange meta right now for the first week of the release of the game, because everyone's, since they only have one deck, a lot of people are just trying to play like aggro. There's a lot of aggro decks at the moment. I've been seeing a lot of Shadow Isles decks as well. But one of the decks I wanted to feature, and I think is very powerful at the moment, is Elites. So Elites is a pretty budget-friendly deck. As you can see, we only have one champion, which is Garen. You might not even need Garen, but I have one copy of Garen. You get him in the starter when you first start the game. I don't need to craft more because Garen, I think, is a pretty mediocre champion in my opinion. But basically, the idea of this deck, it's a mid-range elite deck. So the deck is full of elite cards, as you can see. Demacia has the elite clan to it. And basically, the idea of this deck is to just go wide on your board and then continuously buff them up. Because right now, there's not very strong AoEs. Like, some people are playing Avalanche that only does 2 damage on the board. Usually that's not enough. There's like, Shadow Isles has a complete board clear, but that costs 9 mana. Usually they can't build it up in time. So basically, you're just playing a bunch of like small dudes, and you buff them up. One of your biggest, most important cards in this deck is Battlesmith, because you drop this guy on ideally turn 2. If your opponent doesn't have a early way to remove it off the board through like they can use like a challenger or maybe like a spell to pick it off. But if they can't, Battlesmith completely snowballs your board, because like I said, the deck is full of elites. So you play elites, they gain +1. So like you play Battlesmith on 2, and then for example in turn 3 you play Vanguard Sergeant on 3, and then you have a turn 3 4/4. It also works very well with like Vanguard Defender because it has tough. Vanguard Squire is also a very powerful card. When you summon an elite, reduce this cost by 1. So you could very quickly get this to 0 cost or 1 cost and just drop that down and get the buff off the Battlesmith. Another key important buffing card is Vanguard Bannerman. He has Allegiance, so sometimes it doesn't work, but there's only 6 cards in the deck that would make Allegiance not work, so consistency is pretty high. But it grants all of your allies +1/+1. Again, that kind of doubles up with your other elites that gain the buff from the Battlesmith. So like, say your Vanguard Surgeon all of a sudden becomes a 5/5. Silverwing Vanguard's very good because it summons two followers for 1 card, and then it's an elite, so it could gain buffs off Battlesmith. Lauren Bladekeeper, I'm not too sure if this card is good in the deck, but we are kind of budget friendly right now because we don't have too much resources. So maybe in the future Lauren Bladekeeper can get switched out for something else, but because he's not an elite, so that's why I don't like him too much. Swift Wing Lancer just creates more elites into your hand, gives you a bit more resources. Strong getting into the later game, Cytherea is pretty strong because it gives your board fearsome, so it could be really hard for like spider decks or decks that also go wide to like block against your attacks. And then for spells, we pretty much just put like all the good spells in the deck. So because this deck is pretty much just an elite build, you only need Demacia as your clan. But because we throw in Deny, because Deny is probably the best card in the game still. So because we will put Deny in the deck. Along with Ionia. Ionia also has another very powerful spell, Will of Ionia. So this card is really good for either gaining Temple or countering your opponent's spells to try to counter your board. Similarly, we also have Decane. Decane has, I found, really good uses for this. Pretty similar to like Will of Ionia. basically just dealing with a really big unit. For example, if your opponent goes with a really big Braum, I've had this in many cases where I've detained Braum, and they just lose so much tempo after losing the Braum, and then you could just smart them down after that. And then, of course, the one copy of Judgment, very powerful, expensive spell that could help clear the board, because otherwise this deck doesn't have any board AoEs. It's very follower heavy, and you're very reliant on buffing your followers early in the game, early mid game, and just snowballing that. If your opponent could deal with your board like in the early turns quite efficiently, then you might have troubles into the mid and late game. But yeah, very snowbally deck, and at the moment for the first week of Legends of Runeterra, a lot of budget decks can't deal with this type of deck at the moment. So I think it's very powerful and something that a lot of players, you could commit to this deck early on in your first week, and you can start climbing ladder with it. So a deck that I definitely recommend playing if you want to climb ranked, or even just try to win a bunch of games so you can start gaining experience. Again, pretty budget friendly deck, and yeah, so we'll play some games. We'll play 1 or 2 games depending on how the lengths of the games go. But yeah, if you enjoyed the deck, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, because I do plan on making more Legends of Runeterra content in the near future. I'm kind of mixing Road to Masters and like deck and gameplay videos together, because I can't really post too many decks so often because of the way I could gather cards. So Road to Masters will also kind of be like deck and gameplays where I feature decks when I can, or I might just be playing same decks to climb the ladder with, to try to hit Masters. And yeah, so comment down below what you guys think so far of Legends of Runeterra. If this is your first time playing the game, do you enjoy it? What parts of the game do you enjoy? What parts of the game don't you enjoy? What kind of content would you like to see in the future for Runeterra? I'd be really interested in hearing you guys' opinion. So yeah, enjoy the games, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Alright, so our starting hand here, the Vanguard Redemir, I don't have any early drop for it. I want to keep one Bannerman, I think, just because if we get an early start, we could get a good buff on turn 4. I don't think I need 2 though, so we'll just keep the one Bannerman. Try to find something to play on 1, 2. And alright, we got the Battlesmith, so that's the ideal card we want to have on 2. We don't have the girl to play on turn 1, unfortunately, but it's fine. Yeah, so here we're going to start with the Battlesmith. He might have, because he is Shadow Isles, he might have a removal for it. It would take his whole turn to remove it, but if the Battlesmith sticks, that'd be great. He has an Elise here. Can't deal with the Elise. Turn 3, we could go for the Vanguard Defender over the Sergeant, because the toughness is quite nice. So do I want to block this is the question, because he might have that spell that does 1 damage and some of the Spiderling, and I really don't want my Battlesmith to die here. So I think I'm just going to take the damage, let the Spidersmith stay on the board, and I'll just drop this Sergeant. We do have the Vanguard Squire, so hopefully in the next couple turns we could kind of overpower him on the board. I could go for the Bannerman next turn, but it's really not that good. I think next time I'm going to go for the Vanguard Defender as well as the Vanguard Squire. Getting 2 elites, get 2 buffs on them. And then on turn 5 I could go for the Bannerman. Spider. Okay, so the Elise now is going to evolve, which is pretty annoying. The Fearsomes don't matter too much because all my followers are going to be over 3 attack. But his board is gaining quite wide now. Judgment's really good. It's going to help a lot for this Biter board. I might try to bank some mana so I could play it later. Soon actually. Do I want to play units here, or do I want to attack first? To play units first. That's what's interesting about this game, is that when you're playing your units matters quite a bit, I found. But this Defender anyways is going to be kind of good here. He's not going to play anything, so I might want to attack here first before I play the Squire, because if I commit all my mana now on playing the units, he might have some kind of spell to counter him. So yeah, let's attack with these, see if he blocks. Ideally he blocks here so that the spiders kind of die. I need the spiders to die. Or I want them to die because it's kind of scary when he has a full board of spiders because he might have some synergies to buff them. There's a lot of cards that buff spiders. I'd actually consider saving my rest of the 2 mana to stock up on some mana here. So if we don't use our 2 mana, next turn we will have 8 to use Judgment actually. The Judgment might be like a big enough swing. Calling Strike here. Pretty annoying. Yeah, I actually want to maybe hold up for the Judgment. Because I could just Judgment the Vanguard Sergeant and it clears his board. I'm gonna hold it actually. Yeah, I'm going to stock up the mana now. Because if I get like a sweep on his board, it might give me enough time where I could just overpower him. But he has a Black Spear here. That's annoying. Now that he cleared my unit that I was going to Judgment, I kind of want to play this Squire now.
Still so much to learn.
Okay, he's getting more spiders. I'm going to be taking a lot of damage next turn. That's like 9 damage. I could block like... I guess I could block some. I could play the Silver Vanguard as well. So he's just going to go full on attacking here. I think I... Oh yeah, he gets a challenge here. Challenger, he gets to stop my Battlesmith. I don't... This Battlesmith dying is fine, I guess. If I play this Silverwing Vanguard, I'll have 1 stock mana, so I can still use the Judgment next turn if I need. Do I want to use Judgment? Actually, killing my Battlesmith kind of sucks because my Vanguard can't kill his Elise now. I guess I could drop the Vanguard Bannerman next turn. It probably works out. Battlefield is annoying there. He's almost out of resources. I just have to find like a good time to use the Judgment, I think. Like if he dumps his whole hand. Yeah, like this. Or I don't have to Judgment on my turn, I can Judgment his turn. So his board is actually full right now too. But what I'm probably going to do here is just play a dude. I can actually Vanguard Bannerman, see if my Vanguard gets buffed, and then I could kill his Elise.
Raise the banner, lift our spirits.
So I get the buff off. Now I could kill his Elise, and then he'll just have a board of spiders. So I could actually just attack with these two as well. So by doing this, I don't have to actually Judgment, I think, yet. I could wait for him to buff his board and then Judgment. Otherwise, I think I could just trade off these spiders with my elites and it might be fine. You go and block here. Maybe just go and block 1. Okay. By doing this, my attack actually doesn't go off. So pretty good for him. He gets a block, the 5 damage, draw 2. We finally get to pick off his Elise. He did play 2 Elise cards, so he might not have any more Elises. Now they're just 4 1/1s, which isn't as scary anymore, but
I'll handle this
Darius comes down here. He doesn't get to evolve yet. I don't need to Will of Ionia. It's still my turn. Now that he committed a Darius, now I want to play... I kind of want to Judgment this. Unless I could kill the Darius. I mean, I guess I could just block it with the Vanguard Squire here. Go and start attacking now. Yeah, like, do I just Ionia this? If I Ionia, one attack goes through, then he just plays it, he gets the, Yeah, I think what we do then is go for the Judgment. It's kind of risky though. But if I block here, I go down to 8. Am I okay going down to 8? He still has 4 cards in his hand. This might be a little bit greedy. But if I use the Judgment here, I'm down to 2 mana, and then his board is clear. He could have his 7 mana to refill the board, which might have been fine. Oh yeah, this actually evolves first, so I'm actually going to be taking a lot more damage than I thought because of the overwhelm. Yeah, I definitely should have Judgment there. At 2 now, I could just die to like a Decimate. Very scary. But we might be able to clutch it out at 2. I'm not sure. I think we could clutch out at 2. If we just learn Blade Keeper here.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
Like the Judgment, holding the Judgment was really greedy, but I don't think this deck has direct damage aside from Decimate. But I don't think they just hard run Decimate. They would just get it if they have double Darius. But at this point, he would, if he draws a Darius, he just gets that Darius. He might just have like small units now. Okay, so it's my turn. And their Will of Ionia. It's not that good right now.
My journey continues.
I think we're just playing units this turn, attacking with them. He's going to have to block with the spiders. We do also have the 4 Demacia. 4 Demacia I find is pretty hard to play because of the because it's just a slow. Yeah. I could just play units here. We don't get the Legions off. That's really unfortunate. So our next card is Deny, or does it get shuffled back in? Allegiance. Yeah, so we know that it's probably a Will of Ionia or Deny on the top of our deck. We'll see if we draw it next turn. I don't know if it shuffles it back or if it keeps it on the top. Just checks the top and then leaves it there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that interaction is. Calling Strike. We could Will of Ionia. Because Will of Ionia, we also get another chance to buff our board. I don't know if that matters though. We have 10 damage on the board. If we clear and then we follow up with 4 Demacia, it kind of just kills him anyways. So I think I'll just let this Calling Strike go off actually. I might need these Will of Ionias to... I don't want the 3 to block me. So I'll just attack with the 5. Yeah, it's fine. Like, even if he finds a way to kill this 5/5, I could just Lauren Blade Keeper and still wipe the board with the Judgment. So next turn we're going to be up to what, 9 mana plus the, so we have 12. So we can Judgment plus Will of Ionia if he plays a big thing after. Oh, he has a Hecarim. Yeah, so the top deck, the Allegiance does just leave in the... I think it's fine if we just... If we Judgment here.
I am not afraid.
Because there's also trade... Wait, we could be more efficient and go 3? I take 1 damage from the Overwhelm.
You don't scare me.
Being that 1 and 2 matter, it might actually matter though. Oh man, I actually... It might matter because a spider might kill me. I guess we've been playing greedy all along anyways. Okay. So we're down to 1. Do I will Ionia and my Lauren to buff this? Don't think so. Oh, spider. Like, it actually might have been correct to be at 2 over 1.
Ready to do my part.
8, 10. Well, we're going to force him to... We're going for Demacia here. And we're going to force him to block with all of these. Because I just want these spiders gone. Being at 1 health, I have to have the board clear. And this just makes it lethal if he doesn't block. So we're going to have to do this. We also have a deny if he has some kind of spell, like the spider spell. And double will of Ionia. So I think we could just keep bouncing stuff back and then probably win this. Like, I think our top decks are a lot better than his, unless he draws a champion. If he draws a champion, it's kind of hard to deal with, but maybe the double Ionia gets it. If he drew, like, a second Hecarim, though, it's really hard, I think. So he's just going to take the 5 and keep the spider up, which is fair. He has enough health, so... Let's see. Okay, that's pretty good, because I just get 2 followers for 1, and that's pretty good. Ah... This also has Overwhelm. We have the deny for the Decimate. How much does Decimate cost? 5. He has enough to just kill me with the Decimate. So we have 13 mana. This costs 11. So we could play this. We have to Will of Ionia this. But this uses all his mana. Wait, do we win here? Do we have enough to win? Because if he plays this, he only has 2 mana, so he can't play the Decimate after. It depends what he draws next on the top of his deck. He just will Ionia that. Holy, wow, this game is really close. Yeah, if he plays this again, we just will Ionia it. We don't even have to will Ionia because the Overwhelm's only on his turn. Or we could just attack here now and just not let him respond to anything. So he's just dead, right? Wow, good game.